Well, today we got ourselves a little 2013 Nissan Juke, and she needs a thermostat. So I looked up the repair guide. The repair guide is not actually super clear, but this is a bigger job than it ever should be. They want you to pull the entire intake, so everything from here below. They want you to pull all your piping, obviously, your alternator, and your water pump, all to get to your thermostat. I don't think that's the right way of doing this. I think it's going to be a heck of a lot easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this front bumper, and then I think we can take out maybe even this core support up here with the hood latch and get to it from this angle without having to pull everything else. The thermostat is tucked in down here. I don't have a flashlight, but I'll grab one in a second and show you. It's tucked in down in this corner behind the alternator. So you can kind of probably see that big hose that runs down yonder. It's like down in that general vicinity. So our plan is to come in right up here from this front corner to get to it. Hopefully this works. If not, I guess we're pulling some intakes. So if the video's live, that means it works. If this part doesn't make the video, it didn't work. Also, this is something I want to point out for all you people who take your cars to shops. If you're trying to figure out if you're going to take it somewhere or if you're going to do it yourself, don't ever bring your car to a shop this disgusting. It's like, there's stuff, it's gross, man. That's like going to the dentist and not brushing your teeth for a week first. Like, nobody wants to deal with that. If this wasn't a friend of mine's car, it's actually a friend's daughter's. If that wasn't the case, I'd just send it right back. Like, I'm not getting that nastiness. But yeah, I'm gonna get this thing up in the air and then we'll get started. I'll show you how to get this bumper off, and let's see if we can get to that thermostat. All right, so I am going to go ahead and start by pulling the tires, just so they're not in my way and it makes it a little easier. If you are doing this on like jack stands or on the ground and you don't want to do that, you can get away with not pulling it. So all we're going to do is end up pulling this little wheel lip molding. We're going to pull that back some, and we're going to pull this wheel liner forward so we can access. There should be screws or push pins holding this bumper in right up here on this corner from inside, and once we get that out, we can pop this loose. So I'm going to take these out just so it's easier to see and easier for me to get my large self in there. So let me get the tires off and we'll pick up from there. All right, so we're going to start in over here on this driver's side, specifically because some nice folks have already taken some push pins out for us. They're missing a bunch of them, actually. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull this wheel lip molding. You're going to need a push pin removal tool or a flathead screwdriver. This is also probably a good time to note, I'll put a link up here in the video for a thermostat on Amazon if you'd like to order one to save a little bit of money. We'll also have links in the description for random tools like push pin pullers and trim sticks if you need them, and the thermostat as well. If you order that, it really helps us out because we get kickbacks from Amazon, but alas, here we go. So we're going to start off, we're going to take this push pin out. There should be a push pin right here. It's already missing, and I think that's probably all we need. So let me prop this buddy out of there, and then I'm going to assume, once I get this out, that this wheel lip molding has clips into the side of the bumper here. So I think we're going to pull it this way. So let's see what we got. Yep. See, there's a little clip right there, and there's going to be a handful of them all the way up and around. Voila! Hey! This holds the screw. We don't even have to take the wheel liner out. Cool! That's always nice. You're still going to need to pull this push pin here. And then we'll see however it's connected on the bottom. But you just got that 1 10mm screw right there. That's what holds the bumper in. Sweet. That was a nice find. So I'm going to go do this to the other side, and we'll get those 10mm out, and then we'll start looking at the bottom side. All right, got it up in the air here. I actually left these 10mm in. I'm going to take them out last. But that's the fastener at the top side. So on the bottom, it's actually super easy. So you have 2 10mm here that hold this little, whatever they call this thingy on, and it actually holds the wheel liner to the front bumper. This one, again, that somebody's done work for me, but you should also have push pins here, here, and here and they're all missing. I took these 2 10 mils out already, so those weren't missing, but all the push pins in the middle were already out, but should be 3 push pins down the middle and then these 2 10 mils on the ends. You get that off, the whole bottom side is free. And then we're gonna have to figure out how to unplug the fog lights, but we'll do that as the bumper comes off. So let me get these 10 mils out, then my lower end's free, I'll bring it back down, we'll pull those 10 mils, and then I'll show you how to pop the bumper out and loosen up the top side. All right, so here we are, I've lowered it down. The last step before we start actually pulling the bumper, so we're gonna go out on the top side of this grill, which sits underneath the hood right there. So right here, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna take out all those push pins, so this whole assembly is free to come forward, and then we will take our 10 mils out on the side and start to pop this bumper off. All right, so we got all the push pins out of the top side here, and I just pulled our 10 mil in the corner. See there? So what you're gonna do now, reach underneath, make sure you're not grabbing the wheel liner, you're underneath it, see how my fingers are in between, and you're just gonna pull this straight out like that. So I pulled it right back to me, and you see there's a bunch of clips that go down this little plastic retainer. It should run all the way up with clips here and down this headlight. So we're gonna carefully just pop them all out like this. And I say out, like you'll see, it's like little tabs, and they go into like a little retainer. At least that's how it normally set up. This is my first ever Nissan I've worked on. But yeah, see in there? They have these little retainers, and then you have these little tabs in your bumper. That simple, and they have the same thing that runs down the headlight. This is what every manufacturer seems to use these days. So our whole bottom side's free. Now I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna loosen this, and I'm gonna loosen on the other side, and it should come free once it comes off this headlight. It should start to come forward, and then we just gotta figure out how to unplug our fog lights and any other wiring harness that's connected to this bumper, and we can have it off and sitting on that stand over there. So if I see anything that seems noteworthy, I will let you know. Well, looky there. You notice anything? Anything crazy? Look, the fog lights stay on the vehicle. That's super cool. The bumper just goes around them. That's probably one of the easiest bumpers I've ever removed. So hopefully this goes smoothly, because if that's the case, this is probably going to be one of the, by far the easiest way to change this thermostat. So we're here. The bumper's off. It's on our stand. Now what? Well, it's down over yonder. So I gather if we get this intercooler out here, which that is held on with these little things on the rad support. So if I pull the headlights off and take these bolts out and just pull this entire rad support out of the way, we should be able to pull this intercooler, and that should give us a perfect shot right at the thermostat. If you hear me hesitating, that's because I'm thinking out loud here. Well, yeah, I mean, we're gonna try it. We're gonna go for it. All right, I've smoked on it, and I've decided, yes, we are full sending this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take out these headlights. So it has a 10 mil here, a 10 mil here on the side, and a 10 mil up here on the top. And I'm going to pull these and just kind of set them up away from this core support. So I'll get both headlights pulled and set up to the side, and I'm going to take off these push pins. There's one here and one here that hold these little deflectors to the core support. And once I have that off, we're going to just unbolt the core support, and I think it should come up, and the hood latch, the sensors, these horns, all of this should be able to ride with it, and we should be able to just flip it over and lay it over here and hang it. And that will give us access to our intercooler here, which we have a pipe here and a pipe here. So we'll tackle that once I get all this apart, but I think it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to zip these headlight 10 mils out real quick and get this thing ready to come apart, and then if anything crazy comes up, I'll show you. But if not, it's pretty straightforward. Just a handful of fasteners, and it should pop right off of there. All right, so the only change that I decided to make before I pull this core support is I'm just pulling the headlights out entirely. You see them over there. So yeah, you got with this little one, this little connector in here, I find it's easier to just twist and remove the little amber lights on these two, the one in the back and the one in the front. And then the actual headlight has a depressor right here where my finger is, so you just squeeze that and pull it out. They're pretty grimed up though, so this is an 11-year-old car. There you go. So now you can just take the whole headlight out. That way we don't bonk it or knock it down or anything. So I'm just setting these over here, right on top of my cheapy sunglasses. Sweet. So now I'm ready. I got two 13 millimeters, one there, and two more on this side. And then we're gonna pop this puppy up and try and just swing it over. All right, one more thing. So you see I have the fog light leaned over there. We're gonna pull this fog light and set it to the side too. If you look up here, the channel runs up underneath and this 10 mil goes through it too. So we're gonna pull this 10 mil, and then there's one down in here. So we'll take those three off and we're gonna set this to the side just so it's nice and out of the way. All right, here we are. So we're going to pull this core support now. One other thing, if you haven't noticed, if you didn't see it already, the hood rod runs on the core support, or on this rad support right here. So I just put a block of wood under the hood to hold it over there, because you gotta take that out. But yeah, right now it should, there it goes. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So we're gonna set it down and just kind of hang it over here like this. I don't want to be putting, oh yeah, hood cable's holding that, which is a steel braided cable, so that's good to go. So now we got to get these this intercooler free here. It looks like we have a 10 mil back here, and then we need to get this hose off. So we'll get that off and this off, and this puppy should, oh, there's a hose way down on the bottom that runs up, that is this hose. So let's pull this cover real quick and see where that goes. This just pops up. It's kind of it's already broken too. Look at that. Jesus. Oh, just goes right there. So we'll get that free there, and take out this 10 mil. This puppy should lift right out, and hopefully if everything goes according to plan, it should give us access to the thermostat. All right, so I got my band clamps loose. They're 7 millimeters, and this is another one of those weird tools that'll be in the description if you don't have one. This is a radiator removal tool, or reamer tool. So you just take this hook, put it up under there when you got these hoses that are like gummy on there, and you just run it around like this, and that will break it free and make it not be stuck on there and impossible to get off. So I'm gonna need 2 hands to do that one. That one's really gummed on there, but see how that just came right off? That was stuck before. So let me get this one off. We got our 10 mil off down here, and then we are going to carefully try and lift this out so we don't bang any of the cooling fins on the AC here. So we're just gonna carefully slide it up, and then we'll see what we can get to down here. Well, she came right on out of there, no troubles at all. I pulled the radiator forward just a smidgen, but look what I see. It's a little thermostat housing right there. So this is gonna work. This is gonna work real nice, actually. I'm gonna grab a empty bucket to put under the car so I can try and catch whatever fluid comes out. We got to take this line off here, and then we're gonna pull this radiator line there, and then let me see if I can get this in here so you can see. You got that 13 millimeter right up there. I'll put a circle around it on the screen. And you got another one on the bottom side right under there, and that is the cap that holds the thermostat in. So once we get these 2 hoses off and the coolant catching in a pan, there's actually probably a drain plug on this radiator. Yeah. It's right here. So that's a drain plug where my hand is. You just turn that. So I'm gonna get a bucket. I'm gonna put that bucket right underneath the front here. We're gonna drain the radiator first. There will still be coolant that comes out of those lines. It'll just reduce the amount that comes out. And then, yeah, once we're got all the lines out, I'll get that housing off, and I'll show you what it looks like and how to put the new one in. And then it's as simple as just putting this all back together, which is really not bad. This is way easier than pulling all of this intake and that alternator and the water pump. I actually think they tell you to pull off. They tell you to do the alternator, the water pump, and this entire intake, which is every one of these pipes on top, and this all the way to this plastic piece here. They want that to come off to access that thermostat housing. That's insanity. It's like a 5-hour job if you do it that way. I think, I mean, I'm recording, which makes me take twice as long, but I think this is gonna be a 2-hour deal now. All right, here we are. Coolant is drained. I spilled a little bit on the floor. We'll get that kitty litter when we're done. I pulled the first hose right there. So whenever you have these like smaller hoses, it's actually easier instead of using the reamer tool to just grab the end of the hose, use some channel locks like this, and then just twist it, and then it'll break free and you can pop it off. No problemo. So we are down to this big radiator hose here, and then we are ready to pull the thermostat housing. So I am going to get this clamp off down here. It is this big hose. Oh my god, it's so hard to see in here. This big hose right here. I'm going to get that clamp off and break it loose, and we're ready to take out the two 13 millimeters. Also, the way things change, it looked like it's about to storm. I got reports that a storm was coming, so that Yahoo old guy decided the only place he could put his Delta that involved him moving the least was up here in front. So now there's zero space to work. You can't even move in this stupid shop. All right, at the end of the road here. So let me see if I can't get in here. I have a 12 millimeter ratchet wrench. This is a 12. These are 12s, not 13s. So I'm going in with the ratchet wrench for this lower one. And then I actually used the 1/4 inch drive to break that one loose already on just a regular socket. So let's see what we can get in here.
One eternity later.
Ow. There it went. So now we just take that lower bolt out. I'm fighting right now. And then we'll take out that upper one, and we will get this thermostat right on out of here. Whoop, whoop. All right, so I need 2 hands though. This is really hard to do with this flex head ratchet. And holding the camera. So I'm gonna get this out and then I'll show you what it looks like inside. I'm happy this worked. Here we go. We got the housing off. We're using the Delta as a workbench now because he put it here. There's the housing. And take note of which direction the thermostat goes in. Sweet. We're gonna reach in here and wobble this guy out. So if you're asking how I diagnosed that this was the thermostat, the answer is I did not. I was told, can you change the thermostat? Not, can you diagnose my overheating issue? Oh my god. So hopefully this is indeed the problem. That's all I'm saying. There you have it. There's your thermostat. We're gonna get the new one put in there, and then we're gonna work on getting this puppy put back together. A couple things to note real quick that are important. So you see this little like wiggly spring valve thingy? That needs to face upwards, like this in the engine where that's facing vertical, because that is to allow air to bleed. So never put those down sideways or anything. Just always make sure they're facing upright. The other thing is make sure you're very careful around your alternator there. That little rubber cap saved me once I banged a ratchet into that. If you want to be extra careful and safe, I recommend disconnecting your battery before going to this thermostat housing, but I survived. We made it so far at least. But yeah, that's that. So this video helped you out. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Well, got a couple more pointers for you. One, I have a much larger mess on my hands now. That is because, let me get this light. Whenever you are down here putting this thermostat in, make sure you get it, make sure you're dang certain you got it in there flush, and you start the bottom bolt first. I got the top one started, and the bottom one was started, but not all, like snug down, and I like started to snug the top one first. That thermostat popped out and shifted down, and then when I put my first gallon of coolant in, which luckily you don't have to put any of this front end on before you test it. So I had the intercooler back in because this is not a common problem. So I did have the intercooler in, but then I saw it leaking, so I yanked that back out. Realized what it was. Lost a whole gallon of coolant just kind of everywhere. It's all over me. It's not fun. But yeah, got that pulled, reseated. Now it is correct. I put another gallon of coolant in there. It's not leaking a drop. So we are good. I'm going to put this intercooler back in, and then I'm going to start it. And we are going to try and bleed the system before we ever put any of the front end back on, because I don't want to be taking any of this back off. It's not like it's hard, but when I put it back together, I want it to be done. So I'll put that intercooler in and then bleed it. If I have run into any issues, I will let y'all know. But for the most part, that's it. That's a wrap. So yeah, if the video helped you out, hit that thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe. I got some custom stuff that we're doing, Mustangs, Internationals, I don't know, some things that are going to start in 2 weeks. I'm going to make sure that Bentley, I'm going to be touching those at least Monday and Tuesday of every week. So thanks for watching.